yeah. Which side of the fine lines for you and me?
That's Georgia Smith with Fine Lines. You're back in the lounge on WURD Radio 96.1 FM 900 AM. I'm your host, Sincerely Sarita. It's Women Crush Wednesday, so shout out to all of the phenomenal women who are walking the walk, talking the talk, and empowering other women to do the same. I get to welcome my final guest of the evening. She's joining me in studio. So if you, if you're more of a visual person, y'all know when we have guests in the studio, we really try to make sure we go live. So if you head over to Facebook, you can tune in via Word TV. All you got to do is make sure that you've liked the Facebook page at onWURD, as well as at the Lounge Word, and you can catch this live broadcast on either one of those two. And then, of course, I like to go live over on Instagram, and so that's happening right now. But let me tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Janine Kayembe. She's designer at holistic.art and co-founder of Life Do Grow Farm, here to discuss, her role in the EcoWord Environmental Justice Summit. It's taking place this Sunday at Bartram's Garden from 2 to 5 p.m., right? And it's really set to be, I guess what I would like to say, like dynamic conversations, community conversations about the connections between race, income, and the environment on a local, regional, and national scale, but definitely with primary focus on Philadelphia. So we have some amazing advocates, right? Some environmental justice advocates who will be doing lightning talks, and Janine is one of them. So she's here to chat a bit about that and more. We like to get to know folks more, make sure you know who we're talking to, how you can support them, find them, follow them, and all that good stuff. So that's that on that. Hey, welcome to the lounge.
Hey. Hey, everybody listening. How y'all feeling?
Good. Look, good. It's okay, y'all. I got y'all. So how's your day going? How's things going?
Yeah, I just landed off a plane from California.
Oh, just you
just this
coming in hot.
Coming in cold, actually.
Oh yeah, true.
Due to global warming.
Yeah. And why this event on Sunday is needed. So what took you out Cali?
I just got married.
Congratulations!
Yes. Me and my partner had a very eco-sustainable wedding, which was really dope. And
what does that even mean?
It means
educate me.
Yeah, so most folks they spend thousands of dollars on a venue, on this, on that, on renting plates and silverwares. And instead, we bought the venue. We bought our land in Joshua Tree, California, and it was about the same price as if we were to rent somewhere. And we brought all of our friends and family to that land. All of the food that we sourced from the wedding for the wedding was from a farmers co-op in Los Angeles, which is a couple hours from Joshua Tree. The Airbnbs that we stayed in were Black. All of the silverware, everything was compostable. Everything that wasn't used got used in the next meal, and then the next meal, and then the next meal, instead of just continuously buying different things.
Yeah.
So it was very, very intentional. I got my suit from Fabric Row, from the Black tailor there, and I'm missing his name right now. Love that guy. Go see him. He's on 4th and Queen.
Okay.
So, just made sure we were very intentional and made sure that each and every decision as we were spending this money was going either back into our community, back into a cooperative where we know that our dollars are going to multiple families instead of just one. And then instead of renting all the tablecloths and tableware, my friends rode around LA because LA is so lush with tropical trees. So they were like cutting down banana leaves and cutting off people's trees, and that was the table setting.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So yeah, we recycled a bunch of stuff, went on Craigslist, looked up, chairs, and people were in Beverly Hills and, giving away free stuff. So we repurposed all of those things to keep our costs down, but as well to be very intentional with how we were going to affect the environment with something like the wedding industry.
Yeah. Wow.
So, when it comes to this environmental living, it really starts with the choices that you make and how you spend your dollar and what you're choosing to support.
I'm gonna have to pass the word along, but like I would love to see that as a like a blog post of like how we did an eco-sustainable wedding, and like break down like all of that for us, so that others can hopefully be inspired to do that and know how to, like, here's how you can kind of replicate this or infuse this into your own, because I think like that is so dope to take what you're passionate about and what you know is important, the earth, right, the environment, into an industry that I honestly don't hear talk about that a lot or promote environmental awareness and stuff. Yeah,
they're doing all types of stuff. Even the chef, we flew out from Puerto Rico because we were doing brigades after the hurricane, and one of our chef friends that lost his restaurant and things like that, they were able to rebuild, but we wanted to make sure we were giving him money as well. So just even to every single person, but we brought the same production crew as if we were to help someone's farm in Puerto Rico. We brought them to help us with the wedding. Yeah. And it's nothing we would do out of the ordinary. We're always cooking for hundreds of people, 10, 50 to 50 people at a time. We're always, sourcing good food from local farms. It's just like, it was fun for us, because that's just like what we love to do. But I think purchasing the land was the first step.
Yeah, and so it's called Joshua's Tree.
Joshua Tree National Park is part of the Mojave Desert, which is a gigantic national park with these different rock formations and these very interesting, weird-looking trees. They're like cactus, and we bought land maybe like 10 miles from there.
Wow.
And, people are like, you bought land in California? Are you rich? And this goes into a little bit of my talk for Sunday, is I really want to, break the myth that it's hard to own land. I was just reading, and down south, Black folks are owning land that amount to, I think it was like $41 billion. So in other places, as, young folks are coming up and figuring out, how do I make this rent in New York City? Yeah. It's like, nah, you really need to be thinking about how you need to buy this land wherever your ancestors are from, or wherever your people are from. And it just depends, folks, like I said, in Philly, like there were lots for $2,000, $3,000 at one point, which I know is hard for some families, and we know we spend that money depending on whatever it is.
It's about what you're doing with the money.
It's about what you're doing with it. So we were able to find land in Joshua Tree, California for under $10,000, which I just received the Leeway Transformation Award this year.
Congratulations.
Shout out Leeway. Appreciate y'all. And that's what I used my grant money for, was to buy this land. And then now we're going to continue to develop it. And not only will I have it, but our kids will have it, their kids will have it, and it'll go for generations.
I was just going to say, like, do you have a long-term vision for what you see happening with the land and what you want to do with it?
Yeah, so me and my partner, of course we have a bunch of different ideas. What really is our main inspiration was Octavia Butler's book, The Parable of the Sower. For any folks that are interested in environmental justice or like kind of post-apocalyptic Black stories, Octavia Butler's The Parable of the Sower is a phenomenal book on how the main character goes throughout. It's so interesting because it's based in Southern California, but they have to move and they have to create their own survival oasis, where there's kids, where there's people that are in love, where people are trying to survive and the world is so chaotic around them. And that's really going to be the basis of what we're looking at for our land, is to make sure that our family, our friends, and people, artists in general, have a safe space to kind of be outside of the city, to think, create, learn all these different tools on how to live sustainably, how to rethink, like, oh, do I really need a 40-bedroom house, or do I need 40 acres, you know, and maybe a 2-bedroom house, but you're growing food for everyone around you, or you're just like people, it's just, or you just have space for people to just chill and relax and be in nature, which that really counterbalances the, it balances out all of the brick and mortar and concrete that we have to see every single day.
The cranes in the sky.
Exactly.
Shout out to Solange. So have you always been passionate about the environment and about, you know, living sustainably, or is that something you kind of evolved into?
I think being from California, there's you can go from the mountains to the beach in the same day. So Christmas, we would like throw some snow around, and then we would ride to my grandma's house and go to the beach, and then everyone would eat. So I think I grew up in these small ways around like nature. But I had a stepfather growing up, and his family, they grew their own food. And like, you know, I think my mom's an immigrant, so growing your own little things are like in your windowsill or whatever stuff that doesn't grow, you know, here, that doesn't grow here because it's from like the Philippines is where my mom is from. I was used to that, but I think I was exposed to it very early, and I used to have to go out, pick the tomatoes, pick the peas, pick the carrots with my little brother, but I never thought of it as a career. I only thought of it as a career. I was actually homeless in New York City, and I used to go to these LGBTQ services. It's called The Door, and it's an amazing program that happens there, and they give young folks like dental and health care
awesome.
for folks that are, you know, either homeless or houseless. And there was a cooking class, and she took us up to this farm called Blue Hill, and it's one of the most expensive restaurants in New York City. Their restaurant brings all of their produce in at 5 a.m. So everything you're eating was picked that morning. It's like a little bit unreal because, you know, the stuff that we get in our grocery stores.
Few days old.
No.
If that.
To take a truck of oranges from Florida to Philly is a week. Because it got to stop in Baltimore. It got to stop in Jacksonville first. Then it got to go, you know, then it's working its way up, and then it gets here. So, you know, that's super hard. That's not the way we really should be eating living, but that's a different conversation. But I really got into it after like understanding food more. And then, when I came to Philly, I got this amazing opportunity to do brigades down to New Orleans and see like what was happening there. We stayed at this amazing urban farm and then decided to build one here. And over the past 10 years, I've kind of come to the reality like, oh, I am an environmental justice activist. This is the work that I'm doing. And I would doubt myself a little bit sometimes. Like, I want to be an artist, poet, painter. And
you all that.
Of course. That's the best part about being a queer Black woman is all of these complexities and getting to learn them and to nourish them as I go along. So I think I learned so much from being a part in owning an urban farm, and now I'm taking all of that knowledge to my little 2 acres. And, you know, going to really be focused on supporting families, queer folks of color who are artists, who are also activists for the environment, because that space is very minimal in the world.
It sounds like just taking the summation of all of your experiences up until this point and like directing all of that energy into what you do at Joshua's Tree, or in Joshua's Tree, I should say.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, that's the name of the land. I actually love that name.
No, the name of the land is actually called Mindoro, which that's our last name is Oro, me and my partner, and Mindoro means gold mine. So, you know, we got to manifest.
I was about to say,
we got to
speak
manifest
it.
the wealth.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Loves, if you're just tuning in, well, wait, should I be saying your name different last name?
Oh, yeah, you can add the auto on top. I got my ring on.
Did you hyphen it?
We didn't hyphen.
Okay, so it's just to, let me.
We hyphen, but we ain't hyphen.
Okay, so Janine Cayembe Oro. Oro.
Yes.
I got to make sure I roll my R. All right. Janine Cayembe Oro. She is designer at Holistic.Art and co-founder of Life Do Grow Farm. She's here, you know, not only telling us a little bit about her journey to becoming and owning her space as an environmental justice activist, but also the role that she's going to be playing in the onWURD Environmental Justice Summit that's taking place this Sunday at Bartram's Garden. It's happening from 2 to 5 p.m. If you want to learn more about it, make sure you head to WURDradio.com, or you can call 215-425-7875. Again, 215-425-7875. If you want to join the conversation, if you're hearing anything within Janine's story that is really resonating with you, right, or speaking to something in you, feel free to call in and join the conversation. 215-634-8065. Again, 215-634-8065. You can also call in toll free, 866-361-0900. Again, 866-361-0900. Shout out to everyone who is tuned in over in the social world, our social fam, IG folks. I see you. I haven't gotten my chance to press on my wave button yet, but I'm coming. I see y'all. Shout out to Funk Master Mo 1. He said, great interview with Jesse. I didn't know Frosty was a fellow Hamptonian. He's class of 86. So shout out to the Hamptonians. I'm glad I didn't say Hamptonites, because that would have been wrong. But yeah, shout out to all the Hamptonians. And yeah, Jessie is super dope. If you missed that interview, Jessie Mitchell, she's the newest digital journalist for CBS News, and she was on to discuss this new chapter in her career, in her life, and really how she manifested this accomplishment by the age of 30, because she spoke that into existence 10 years ago, said that's what she wanted to do, and that was what was going to happen. So we talked a bit about that, about the digital journalism landscape, her experience as a natural hair broadcaster, walking in her parents' footsteps. They both have extensive history in the industry. She grew up in the industry. So it was just a really, really great interview. So shout out to Jessie. Thanks again for your time. But right now I'm with Janine. We got to take a break so we can pay some bills, okay, so we can stay on air and keep doing what we do, so that we can then do events like the Environmental Justice Summit. And shout out to all of the members, right? The WURD Forward Movement members who keep this station going, who make it possible for events like the Environmental Justice Summit to happen, like to be able to happen. You know, your investment in this community and our community is what's making all this manifestation possible, right? When we're around the table and we're like, what can we do for our community? How can we be proactive and not reactive? How can we be solutions-based, et cetera, so on and so forth? Like, this is possible because of the support that you all give. So if you're not a member, I definitely encourage you to consider becoming one. And you can just head to WURDradio.com to learn more about that. But all right, going to take this break, stop talking y'all ears off so we can get a jam in and, you know, pay these bills and stuff. So stay tuned. You're in the lounge on WURD Radio 96.1 FM 900 AM. We'll be back after these messages.
Brothers and sisters!
Don't miss The Source.
Weekdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
on Word Radio.
WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app.
At Dietz & Watson, we've spent over 75 years focusing on the details. This can be traced back to our founder, Gottlieb Dietz, who learned how to make franks and sausages the right way in Germany. Today, each one of our delicious offerings is meticulously crafted using perfected details. Because if it isn't good enough for our family, it isn't good enough for yours. To us, the details make all the difference.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is Word Radio.
Independent Black Media.
Some knowledge belongs to us and us alone. The way our girlfriends walk, the way they talk, the way they touch their hair. We hold details that only a sister can know about her girls. But what about our other girls? The ones that we carry with us every day. Can we describe them when everything's right? Can we feel when something's wrong? Our bond with our sister girls gives life. But knowing your breasts can save it. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. That's knowyourgirls.org. Brought to you by Susan G. Coleman and the Ad Council.
The Lounge with Sincerely Sarita. Sincerely Sarita. Right now on Word Radio.
It's just gravity.
That's Leanne LaHava's Unstoppable FKJ remix. You're in the lounge on WURD Radio 96.1 FM 900 AM. I'm your host, Sincerely Sarita, and it's Women Crush Wednesday. Shout out to all of the phenomenal women out there walking the walk, talking the talk, empowering other women to do the same. I told you all a little earlier in the first hour that my Women Crush Wednesday this week is Alicia Keys. She was recently on the Red Table Talk, excuse me, the Red Table Talk this week. She sat at a red piano with the host gathered around her and just shared her personal struggles and insecurities and revelations about her marriage and stories behind some of her biggest songs. And like she would randomly just start playing some of her songs and like really working it into her storytelling. And I appreciated seeing her in that element and like hearing her share about the things she's still, you know, growing and evolving through, like realizing that she's a mess. Like she's messy as a human being, right? Like that's just our experience. And that, like she's had moments where she's been jealous of her husband's ability to dream big and then go do it. That in a lot of ways she has suppressed some of her own big dreaming because of what she thought she could or could not be. And that tied into some of her insecurities and stuff as well. And so that actually inspired the question of the day. And I wanted to know, like, what insecurity have you worked the hardest to overcome, right, to grow through? What insecurity would that be? So if you want to call in and chime in, feel free to 215-634-8065. That's the hotline. You can also call in toll free 866-361-0900. And one of the insecurities that she touched on was not wanting to ask for too much. Like, oh, well, I only need, you know, this is all I need. Like, this is okay. And this tied into her kind of being jealous at one point of her husband being able to dream big and go do it. But, you know, just kind of settling to an extent. And she said it was really tied to her sense of self-worth. And that's something that I definitely identify with and that I've experienced myself. It's just like, I can make something out of nothing, so therefore I don't need much. But that's not always the best way to think about that, right? Because that can become very limiting. And she ended up saying that one of the things she realized was essentially what she was telling the universe, you know, what she was speaking was that she didn't need much, so she wasn't receiving much. You know, not according to what she knew she had in her. Like, we may look at her and like, sis, you got a whole career. Like, what do you mean? It's pretty big. But if that's not what she's seeing, right, if she knows there's more in her, then that's valid too. And so she was just saying and realizing that that's one of the revelations that she had was like, maybe I'm not getting as much as I could or as much as I would like out of my life because I'm actually really not asking for all that I would really love to have out of my life. So just a little message to kind of take with you. And really, when you get a moment, like take some time, if you haven't already, to think about your insecurities and you know, how are they holding you back in some way? Are they preventing you from growing in some way? Are they feeding negative self-thought, like planting seeds that are essentially actually keeping you rooted and not in a good way, like keeping you rooted in old habits, old ways of thought, old belief systems, etc., right? But speaking of being rooted, of seeds, in a far more positive manner. It's the segue. I'm chatting with Janine Kayembe Oro. She is a designer at holistic.art and co-founder of Life Do Grow Farm. She's here because you're actually going to see her on Sunday when you attend the Environmental Justice Summit. Yes, I said when you attend. So if you don't know, now you do. You're invited to join WURD for a dynamic community conversation about the connections between race and income and the environment. We're going to have some lightning talks with leading environmental justice advocates. We're going to have a talk and musical performance by Ill-Fated Natives. Ooh. We're going to have an onWURD photo exhibit by Zamani Feelings. It's titled Wasted, and it really explores the trash crisis in Philly. We're also going to have a green sector job resource fair situation happening as part of our livelihood initiative. And there's also going to be a healing drum circle by Music Over Matter with a special presentation for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And just FYI, it's also Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and it's also Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. On tomorrow's show, we're going to be chatting with a woman who experienced an infant loss, and really has just been vocal about her story. So definitely want to stay tuned for that. But with this onWURD Environmental Justice Summit, head to wordradio.com. You can get the full details there. You can RSVP, all that good stuff. But Janine, why was it important for you to get involved with this event in particular?
I think I enjoyed the first onWURD event that I was a part of in March, I believe that was, earlier this year.
Yeah.
And I loved all the folks that did the talks, and it was at PAFA, such a beautiful space.
Yeah.
So I think that, continuing this work and loving the work that WURD is doing, really uplifting. I think it's very important as a queer person of color, as a queer Black person, that our stories are uplifted within media, because the environmental justice world is very white. When you Google, godfather of permaculture, godmother of herbalism, white people show up. But if I don't do events like this, if I don't come do talks, if all of the other amazing folks of color, the indigenous people who are, standing up for their environmental rights, if we don't continue to make ourselves public, then that narrative will continue to stay white. And we will think that environmental justice is just a white people thing, that it's just mountains, the ocean, things that are out of our reality. But within my experience, I believe that violence is an environmental justice problem. The fact that, Black women have such high rates of infant mortality and breast cancer and all the things, domestic violence, those are all a part of our lived environment. And the trash around us, the pollution in our air, the way we are treated by cities, by governments, by police, that's all an environmental issue. And if we don't continue as people of color to really champion our stories as and experiences around this issue, then like I said, the white folks are going to continue to saturate that as a market and continue to make money off of it and continue to make these signs and do these marches and all of these things, when the work is really done in these urban farms in the hood with the native folks who are fighting for their land so that there's no pipelines, all of the things that we're not necessarily seeing, all the folks that are fighting for, stuff in the water crisis in Flint. I mean, even just the asbestos at Benjamin Franklin High School, that's an environmental justice issue, because just like I said with my wedding earlier, we were very intentional with every little piece, down to the bamboo plates that are going to compost back into the earth. When we're building these schools, when we're building, these new centers, whatever it is, we have to be very intentional with all of the materials that we're using. Like, they need solar panels, they need a green roof, they need all of these different things so that we can continue to have a better quality of life. And our environment as Black people, as people of color, is very different than the environment lived by non-people of color. So we really need to continue to show those intersections so that we can come together to see that the environmental justice problem is tied into the prison pipeline. It's tied into the education. It's tied into the food. It's everything together because we're on this planet together.
Yeah.
You know, the goal is the planet, not these separate issues.
Makes sense. So at the event on, the Environmental Justice Summit on Sunday, I know one of the things that you mentioned, I think might have been off air, that you want to touch on is like the importance and the ability to buy land, and like especially amongst the Black community. Yeah,
I'm going to be sharing my story because that was one of the main, I did Airbnb tours of the farm, and the main question that would come up, and just in general of the tours, people would say, how did you get this land? There's so many different scenarios, whether it be urban, rural, there's so many different ways to the loopholes, finding different websites, whatever the thing may be. So I'm going to be really talking about how I was able to buy land in California for under $10,000 when you have homes that are going for, millions. Right. The average price of a home in California is probably anywhere between $500,000 to $800,000 for probably a 2-bedroom home. Yeah. So, I definitely want to bust those myths and really talk about step by step the research that I did, where I looked, how I even spiritually manifested, the money as well. Because when it's on your radar, those opportunities come up. So that, and also I was a major part in bringing ill-fated natives in, and I love their work because a lot of the music that they have, which, who's doing Black rock right now? Who's doing Black rock where you see these free Black men flying across the stage? So, Joey Sticks on the drums. If you've ever seen him on the drums, if you've ever seen Oteni on his guitar, Boss on his bass, it's a beautiful sight to see. And for them to be talking about, the different things going on in government, to be very honest about how they feel, what their opinions are of this world, and the different oppressions we have to face and the different ways that we have to survive, I felt like that was very on point, even though they are turned up and they are Black rock and punk. But I had to remind folks, I'm like, come on now, Jimmy did his thing now. Miles was up there turned up. Bootsy Collins is up there turned up. It's a part of our blood. We created this. Yeah. So I'm very excited to bring, some younger folks into the space and bringing their music, their opinions, their art, as we're talking about the intersections of how environmental justice can be, how you can be an activist in so many different ways. You can have, of course, you can be that urban farmer, you can be that person at the march, you can be an organizer, but to be doing it in your music, in your writing, in just your inquiry of every day, the photos of the trash as well, like that's the activism, because artists are catalysts of movement. So as long as we are creating art and as long as we are creating visuals that people can see themselves in or hear themselves in, it makes folks more susceptible to being a part of whatever the movement is. Yeah. See, now y'all see why she's going. We had to get her on this event. Like, this we have some other amazing folks on there too.
This thing about to be lit. Like, these are conversations that are going down. These lightning talks, like, not to be missed at all. So, if you are free, if there's any way that you can come out this Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. at some point, even if you can't stay the whole time, just show up and experience it at Bartram's Garden. Of course, that's 5400 Lindbergh Boulevard. That's the EcoWord Environmental Justice Summit that's happening. Head to wordradio.com for more details. But we're going to take a quick break, pay some bills. When we come back on the other side, we gotta wrap this whole thing up. So, Janine, I definitely want want you to come with a Women Crush Wednesday message. We try to ask, all of our guests who come on Wednesdays, because we do our all woman lineup, to pass a message on to especially the women who are listening. So we'll do that, do some shameless plugs and all that good stuff. So loves, stay tuned. You're in the lounge on WURD Radio 96.1 FM 900 AM. Be back after these messages.
Brothers and sisters, don't miss The Source. Weekdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Word Radio, WordRadio.com, and the Word Radio app. Support independent black media and join the Forward movement now at 215-425-7875 or visit WordRadio.com.
We filmed 15 Pennsylvania kids who were all waiting to be adopted and asked what having a family and permanent home would mean to them.
I want a family just to accept me for who I am, to be there just to support me whenever I'm needing it.
To be matched with a family would be amazing. I won't be in a system all the time.
Visit adoptpakids.org to watch the video, meet the kids, and learn how you can become a foster or adoptive parent.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Word family, you are not alone.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Word Radio wants you to know that those who suffer from this disease,
their families,
and friends are not alone. Word Radio encourages everyone to fight.
That's why we're launching Fight for Word, an awareness campaign aimed at bringing attention to early detection,
support groups, prevention, and treatment of breast cancer. This month, we're shining a light on those in the fight.
Plus, all month long, when you start or renew your Forward membership, you'll get a very special pink Fight Forward t-shirt.
Keep the conversation going with the hashtag #FightForward.
And share inspirational messages, stories, and words of encouragement.
Make a difference.
Together.
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 Together. Let's fight forward.
For more information or to start or renew your Forward membership, call 215-425-7875.
The Lounge with Sincerely Sarita. Sincerely Sarita. Right now on Word Radio.
Yo, sorry I missed your call. I'm just busy right now. But I don't want to see you.
You make my heart go boom. Oh baby, it's the look in your eyes that makes you the prize. I wish we were together right now. It's true. You make my body feel loose. Oh baby, it's the way that you lay, the way that you play. I'm praying for forever as well as now. I don't want to hide, I don't want to hide. I don't want to shy from you. No, I don't want to lie, I don't want to lie and say that I don't want you. So if you could lay your cards right down, I am waiting on the table. If you could show me love somehow, we don't need to have a label. You know that I will love you down. I will be every kind of faithful. If you could show me all the way around, I will be very, very grateful. Very, very grateful. You make my worries fly away. I'm thinking it's the way that we rotate that makes me feel okay, So you should come around today. Let me show you somewhere safe. Oh baby, you can stop trying to locate, 'cause we found a soulmate in each other, and now we're bound. I don't want to hide, I don't want to hide. I don't want to shy from you. No, I don't want to lie, I don't want to lie and say that I don't need you. So if you could lay your cards right down, I am waiting at the table. If you could show me love somehow, we don't need to have a label. You know that I will love you down. I will be every kind of faithful. If you could show me all the way around, I will be very, very grateful. Very, very grateful. Yeah.
You're back in the lounge on WURD Radio 96.1 FM 900 AM. That was Grateful. And listen, it's funny, speaking of Grateful, I was just over on Instagram Live. Shout out to all the folks following me on at Sincerely Sarita. And I asked for a Wednesday win. Right? Like, I want to know, give me your win for today. Something that you are like, yes, I got it done. Or yes, it happened. Whatever it may be, right? Or even if it happened, earlier this week, but we talking about it on Wednesday, so it's a Wednesday win. Let me know. Shout out to Daniela underscore Galdi over on Instagram. She said, got all of my email accounts down. Oh, yes, because I got like 10,000 emails in my account.
All for Netflix.
You inspire me. You inspire me. That's a win. That's a Wednesday win. I'm not mad at that. Anywho, gotta get ready to wrap the show up. This Women Crush Wednesday that we have been having with some amazing guests. Like, I swear, I say it a lot, but like, I really, really love this platform that we have and what we've been doing with it. So, Janine, let us know like where we can find you at, follow you at, all that good stuff, because we definitely gonna be able to find you taking over WURD's Instagram on Sunday for the Environmental Justice Summit.
On Sunday, for folks that can't make it, that have accessibility, whatever your thing is, I will be taking over the Instagram, interviewing different folks, just kind of showing the vibe in the space, saying wish you were there. But y'all be able to find me on Instagram at _ Oro 5 _ that's Oro 5. Ooh,
catch it. You good?
Got it. I'm good.
I got some water.
Well, you can't though. Stand.
No, I got another water bottle.
Right.
Keep it back up because I need one for my kickstand.
Yes, and I believe we'll be on Facebook as well. It'll be linked. All that high-tech good stuff. So definitely please follow onWURD on Instagram to check out my takeover.
All right. And then Women Crush Wednesday message. What's your Women Crush Wednesday message?
I would say to my women, folks that identify as women as well, Crush Wednesday message would be that, one, my Women Crush Wednesday is the amazing trans women that took over that CNN debate that I think happened here in Philly. Didn't it happen here, or was it
the
in
most
DC?
Recent one?
Yes.
No, that was in Ohio, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, those are my Women Crush Wednesdays. Shout out to those amazing trans women speaking up for themselves and speaking their word. Women of color, specifically Black women, are the creators of, they're the birthers of this world. And the fact that we are so expansive and complex amazes me. So I feel like the words that I have for the women folks that are listening is, we carry so much every single day. So rest. Just take that beauty sleep. Take that nap.
I love naps.
Call out. Get your coins, but do
right.
The self-care. Take that extra 10 minutes in the morning to make you a green juice, so you're up, you're feeling good. Meal prep, whatever the thing is. Sing in the shower. Take that little bit of extra time for yourself. Because we hold so much of this world. We hold the world on our shoulders. So it is very important to not get, and I'm speaking to myself as well, to not get too addicted to the work, to not get too addicted to holding, nurturing, all of those things. Give yourself the day, the hour, whatever time you're able to afford yourself to rest and reflect and thank yourself and your body for being able to carry the world in the way that we do.
Yeah.
There's this, great book. It talks about radical rest. Folks are doing a lot of things around making sure that folks who are carrying this world, Black women, women of color, that we just get a little bit of time to ourselves, into our own minds, and to really love and adore ourselves in the way that we do others so well.
That's a good note to end Women Crush Wednesday on, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us, Janine.
Thank you.
We made it happen.
I hope we see y'all on Sunday,
October 20th.
We're gonna have some snacks,
2 to 5 p.m.
photos. Oh, and shout out to Mr. Baldwin. He's who made my suit for the wedding. Mr. Baldwin, fourth and queen. Go see him about
Shout
it.
out to wifey, to your partner. She dropped the reminder on IG Live.
Listen,
see, teamwork,
support
make the dream
black,
work.
buy black business. That's how you keep the environment going.
I want to get connected with him. I would love to get him on the show and learn more about his story and all that good
That's
stuff.
the Philly Dapper Dan.
That's what I'm saying. Like we got it. All right, we're gonna talk about it offline. All right,
but
y'all.
thank you for having me so much. I appreciate you. Hope to see everyone on Sunday.
All right, y'all. We are getting out of here, but I want to make sure I leave you with a quick update for those who may have missed it. Aaron Dean, the former officer who shot Atiana Jefferson, resigned from the department, was arrested and posted bond, and has since been charged with murder. So this is one step in what is sure to be a long process with this whole situation. He resigned before he could be fired, which is something that the family has definitely taken issue with. Jefferson's family is calling for an independent investigation, to which the mayor has noted that she disagrees with that course of action, stating that she trusts internal affairs to handle it. Meanwhile, the police chief has asked the Federal Bureau of Investigation to examine the case for possible civil rights violations. So, we're going to continue to keep you updated on this story, and sending many, many healing prayers and energy to Atiana's family and all who are affected by this, especially on this here Women Crush Wednesday. So I appreciate you for tuning in. Shout out to my guy, DJ Frosty Phoenix, to all of my guests for making tonight's show just the awesomeness that it was. Jesse Mitchell, the newest digital journalist for CBS News, and of course, Janine Kayembe Oro, designer at holistic.art and co-founder of Life Do Grow Farm. Tomorrow, Healthy Thursday, y'all. Healthy Thursday. We talking health, we talking wellness, all of that good stuff. So make sure you are tuned in. Our friends over at Read by Fourth will be back to join us, but I'll also be interviewing Joe Conyers, who is a mom, a woman, a wife, who is affected or was affected by infant loss. And so we'll talk about the transition of her child and some of her experiences with pregnancy and infant loss. And then we're also going to touch on breast cancer. We have two women who are going to be coming on speaking about how breast cancer has affected their lives. And just we're all about the empowerment, so making sure that as we present these stories, which definitely have some trauma to them, that we're also zoning in on the healing aspects of it, on the empowering aspects of it, and on the opportunity to be educated on these topics. So make sure you tune in for that, okay? In the meantime, I'm getting out of here. I'm your host, Sincerely Sarita, encouraging you to taste your words before you feed them to someone else. And always, 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 y'all, empathize, empower, and evolve. Peace.
Take me inside.